Ask any of Brian Kissinger's daughters, and all three of them will probably tell you they are very proud of their dad.
He calls it his baby, so.
That doesn't mean they don't get tired of talking about the same old thing.
It's a 1942 Piper Cub.
Night after night.
Dinner table conversation, no matter what it starts out, usually ends up being about the airplane.
But they fully understand what he's accomplished.
When I first saw this airplane, it was just green. It was like we had to sort of envision what it was going to look like. It didn't have an engine ready. It didn't have any of the glass or instruments.
For a guy who fell in love with flying when he was a teenager and flew special operations for the Air Force for 8 years.
So we're ready to go?
Restoring this 1942 Piper Cub
they made almost 6,000 of them for the war effort during World War II.
is hard to describe.
We've been working on it really hard for the past 6 months, just every weekend, every minute that we can.
Throw in the fact that he did it after he beat brain cancer.
Mine was a stage 2 oligodendroglioma, big word, I couldn't say 4 or 5 years ago. But I was one of the lucky guys, Mine was in a place where they could operate on it.
And you start to get a feel for what kind of guy Brian Kissinger really is.
I walked out of the hospital, Barnes Jewish, over in St. Louis, 36 hours after my surgery. My doctor said it was the quickest recovery ever that he had seen. But I was determined to beat it.
Almost 20 months of chemo and a marathon later,
Let's do it.
he decided to push through another project.
And it was just a neat story. It had been in a wreck, and it was sort of like, I was bringing my body back from the surgery that I had to remove the brain tumor and the chemotherapy, and we brought this airplane back the same way, from the wreck that it was in.
Not just for a simple joyride in the sky.
All right, Alexa.
But to take this old plane on an across-the-country adventure.
Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Kentucky, North Carolina. Of course, I go to Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers flew from. All right, it's hot.
To raise money for brain cancer research.
There's over 120 different types of brain tumors that are out there, and I'm hoping I can give something back for people that are, fighting this disease too.
So while most people would just like to relax and relish in the fact that they have made it,
But that wasn't enough for him.
Brian Kissinger is trying to make a difference.
I remember a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And I really feel that if I weren't doing something like this, I couldn't sleep at night. It would feel like I'm cheating the gift and the miracle that I've been given with another chance.
He's also inspiring everyone else along the way.